Hi again. What we're going to do now is we're going to use filters and adjustments to create a scene like this. Okay, as you'll notice, this is sort of a VHS effect. You're probably too young to remember VHS, but you all know what it is. And basically, at some point, for some reason, after playing, the same part, it was always getting stuck, and you get these sort of distorted images, this haloing of certain colors, and it became like a specific aesthetic. Okay, let's refer to it as a VHS effect at this point. Mela, and I'm going to show you how to end up with this result. Okay, let me close this. Make sure to open the image called city. Okay, you can find it on your Moodle as well. I'm just going to open it from here. This is the original image. Okay, now we're going to start editing it to get the effect that we wanted. Okay, the first thing that we're going to do is that we're going to remove this lock. Okay, we're going to remove that, and we would need to duplicate this image so that we have 3 copies of it. So you can either right click and click duplicate, supposedly it's here, duplicate layer, all right, or you can drag it onto the icon of the new layer, which will drag itself. Okay, and like this we have 3 copies. Let's start with the topmost layer. I'm going to start with the top layer so we can see what's happening, okay? Because otherwise it will be covered by the other layers and you won't see what's really happening as we make our adjustments. And let's make sure you have your top layer selected, and we're going to go on Image, Adjustments, and we're going to choose Levels. Before we continue, you have adjustments here as well. Okay, so the difference between the two is this. When you do adjustments from the top menu, you're making adjustments onto the layer directly. All right. Whereas when you do it from here, from the panel, it sort of creates another layer on top of it. Okay. Personally, for certain photos and things like that, I use from here. Okay, so I can have more control because it's separate. In something like this, I want it to be part of the image itself, so I'm going to use it from here. All right, that's the difference. What we need to do is we would need to edit specific channels. Okay, in our case, the channel is already RGB. However, we want to edit the red. Okay, I select red, and I'm going to reduce the output channel from here. I'm going to reduce it to 0, and I'm going to press OK. You'll notice how it changed the color, right? I'm going to put this one on top. Once again, I'm just putting it on top so you can see what's happening. It's not really necessary. Image, adjustment, levels. Okay, and this time I'm going to choose green. Okay, and again, I'm going to reduce the output levels to 0. With the last one, I'm going to put it on top so we can see what's happening. Image, adjustment, levels, and this time I'm choosing blue. Okay, and once again, I'm putting this to 0. Right, so at the moment we have 3 layers, okay, doing something completely different with colors, right? Obviously each one is covering the other one, so as you can guess at this point, we're going to change how the layer is sort of interacting with the other layers, right? So I'm going to change the top one. I'm going to change it to exclusion. It's here. And this one, I'm going to change it to exclusion as well. As you'll notice, I have no need to change the bottom one because there's nothing underneath it to react with. Okay, so it's not really necessary. You'll notice already the color changed. What we're going to do now is we're going to slightly offset the layers so we get that haloing, okay? The haloing that we get whenever the tape is jammed, so to speak. Now, to do that, I'm going to go on this one, okay, which is the move tool. I'm going to click on that, and using the keyboard, I'm just going to move it slightly, okay? So let's say I'm going to move it slightly to the right, just with a couple of taps on the arrow key, okay? Let me select the bottom one, and once again, I'm going to move it slightly to the top, okay? Like slightly up. Like that, I got that slight haloing. All right, if I do the bottom one, let's move it slightly down. And like this, you'll notice, all right, if you zoom in, you notice that because they're not perfectly aligned, we are getting this, they're slightly offset basically. Okay, so we get this kind of effect. Okay, don't overdo it because it will look ridiculous basically. Okay, just slightly, maybe 2 times using the keyboard. I'm using the keyboard just so it allows me for finer movements than if I do it with the cursor basically. Right? What we're going to do now is we're going to merge these. Okay, basically we're going to instruct Photoshop and tell it I want my 3 layers to become 1 layer. Okay, well, when you do this with caution. Okay, in this case I'm telling you to do it, but in other cases the moment you do this there are fewer things you can adjust because obviously all the layers became one. Okay, so don't make this a habit. Just for some things you would need to flatten them, but be careful, don't just flatten everything. Okay, just keep that in mind. To flatten them, basically I can select them all and I'm going to choose merge layers. Okay, and like this all the layers became 1 layer. You'll notice now it's layer 0, I have 1 layer, still looks exactly the same, just I can't play around with the different layers because basically they don't exist. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to apply a filter which will give it a little bit of noise. All right, noise are those specks which usually you get with old images, you know. Let's go on filter. I'm going to choose noise and add noise. Right? Mine is already set to 40. You'll notice you can overdo it as much as you want. Obviously we won't do that. I think if we put it, let's say 50, I think it's good for what we want to do. Let's press OK at this point. Okay. Now we would need to get the effect of sort of when the tape is stuck and certain parts are, like not perfectly aligned with the others. What we're going to do is select the parts where we would want to do this. Like let's select here. All right. Once again, don't overdo it because it will look like garbage essentially. Okay. I select that part, filter, okay, and I'm going to choose distort. Okay, distort and shear. And I'm going to get this. This will allow me to sort of choose which part I'm going to distort. You'll notice that in this display image, it allows you to see what's happening in the part, obviously, that you selected. Okay, you can change this as much as you want. When you click on it, it creates another sort of anchor point, which allows you to edit. Okay, if I made it like this, okay, do it however you want. Press OK, and you'll notice it got distorted in this manner. Okay, let's do another 2 parts. Filter distort, shear. Okay, I'm going to do this one on the other side. Let's try it like this. That's our image there, and let's do here. Okay, filter, distort, shear. Let's do it on the other side. Let's do something like this. Okay, so this is like an effect which usually you get with older videos using tape, okay, VHS. Okay, so this is it. Okay, try it out. The point of this was, so we start looking at filters, we look at things like color channels from the levels, okay, and we also look at we were also looking at like different things combined together to create specific aesthetics. Okay, mela try it out, and as always, if you encounter any difficulties, let me know.